On this episode of G-Spot Chronicles, we're going to get into some updates with D. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why I see so much of myself in this young man. Stay tuned.
Warning: the G-Spot Chronicles contains adult content and adult language. So please remove all children from the room. And if you are not in a private setting, meaning if your ass is at work or at church or around some people you don't want to know that you on some freaky shit, please wear headphones. Welcome to the G-Spot Chronicles. On this podcast, we focus on alternative relationship styles, kinks, fetishes, as they relate to the black community and all people of color. So sit back and enjoy the show.
And welcome to the G-Spot Chronicles. So, I will say this. I have to start this show with what I would call a man's responsibility. Earlier, before we started the podcast, me and Lady T and V were talking about, what was it, placating a man's ego with his size.
Oh, yes.
And stuff like that. And one of the things I was saying is, you know, as a man, we have very few areas to where we are insecure when it versus women. Women can be insecure about their hair, their looks, their weight, size of their breasts, their sex, and all of these different things. And men really don't have all of those areas that we get very deep insecurities about. So I feel just the same way as a man, it is a man's responsibility to let his woman know that he finds her attractive or he's proud of her in these different kind of affirmations. I do feel like it's very important that women do the same thing. So when it comes down to a man's responsibility, I feel like a lot of men do not take responsibility on their side of the street. As I grew up, I noticed a very large difference between how I dealt with women and how I was raised to deal with women and like my brothers and guys I grew up around. Women can oftentimes not be articulate about what their needs are, what their wants are, which leads men to get very comfortable in it, for everything to be about them. If you're a straight guy and you like women, it is your responsibility to prove why a woman should be with you. Mere ego and arrogance doesn't last long. When you get comfortable in that, it will begin to permeate through all of your relationships. Because arrogance only looks like confidence for so long before it just kind of saturates everything. One of the, I guess you would say, materials that I gave D or told him to read is The Art of Seduction. Now, with The Art of Seduction, these are one of the things that helps a man figure out what the fuck his responsibilities are as far as, how would I say it? In my opinion, even being in a relationship, it is a continuous seduction. It is a continuous reaffirming why somebody is choosing you, why somebody's with you, especially in kind of like an atypical relationship, why a woman is following you. If a woman looks up and there is no positive attributes in you, she'll stop following you. She'll stop loving you. She'll stop being there for you. And you may be able to replace that from time to time temporarily, but it will always kind of follow the same loop. Did you bring your book?
No, that's actually. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Pull
Hello?
closer to you.
Hello. Yeah.
Is it the right direction?
Yeah, it's the right direction. So, I did not bring my book actually. I was not able to retrieve it, unfortunately, and yeah, so we're left bookless again.
I will say this: learning how to seduce a woman, not just in the beginning, but over a long period of time, that is not something most men are born with. That is a skill most men learn. Matter of fact, no, let me rewrite that. That is a skill most men should learn, most men often don't. I can't even quantify the amount of information that's out there. I just don't get how a lot of men drop the ball on a lot of shit. It's just way too much information out there. Like at my age of 40, I shouldn't be telling another 40-year-old man that a G spot is not a myth. Like that's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just some basic fucking information. And what I think what I'm trying to impart upon any guy listening to this show, once you get comfortable and you stop working, your shit is over. Like it's done. And you can you can justify your shit on it just ain't working and try to replace, which a lot of men do. You end up regretting that shit later because you end up realizing, oh, most women have kind of a pattern in how they view relationships, how they view affection, what they need and what they want, and at some point, you're gonna have to learn how to do that. You know, you can't go to a bank and be like, I want to take $100 out, and you ain't never put $100 in. It just don't work that way. You know, every area of life, relationships, love, sex, whatever it is, it takes work on both sides. You know what I mean? Like, D, would you consider yourself dominant or submissive?
Dominant.
Would you consider yourself the active participant in your relationship or the person who allows things to happen? Like, do you initiate how you want the relationship to be? Do you initiate the movement on how things should flow?
Typically, I do. When I say typically, I mean like for the most part, yeah. But I think something that I just learned for myself, even what you just said, like initially, like once you are established in something, you have to continue to like nourish it or whatever. I don't know what word you said exactly, but you basically just like kind of continue to pay attention to it and like blah blah blah. So I mean that's something I definitely need to work on. But yeah, I definitely do initiate the movements and you know dictate usually how things go.
In that, who gets the prize at the end? If you're going somewhere, if you're on a path, the end goal, whose goal is it?
My kids, my great grandchildren, their children. That might be like kind of off topic, but like that's how I think about it.
Okay,
to be
so
honest with you,
how is you loving and fucking a woman relate to your grandchildren?
because that's almost like it molds one the way I believe that. Say for instance, like if I have a boy, now I'm going to teach my boy this is how it should be done. So that's how I'm going to teach them, and I learned this from these experiences, and this is how I went about it. So then I'm gonna teach you the same way. So like at the end of the day, it's always for the next person.
Can your daughter follow your example?
Well, she can follow my example in the terms of how she should be treated.
No. Can she have relationships like you have relationships? Can she lead her relationships the way you lead your relationships?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe not in like this exact way. Again,
why not?
because I just said like sometimes I have trouble. Like I will. At the end of the day, I know I got the plan, right? So I'm gonna initiate the plan, and okay, like say for instance, if I have a partner, like, okay, you say you're with me, right? Then that's what I'm gonna think of that. But sometimes I'm not always what's the word? Sometimes I wouldn't say I stop communicating, but like somewhere along the lines I gotta somewhere along the lines I kind of I don't communicate on all sectors, whether that's like physically, mentally, I mean like, you know, emotionally, like verbally, like saying stuff like, oh, you're beautiful, or like something like that. I don't always like say that, but I know at the end of the day, like I know what the plan is, if that makes sense. Like I can, like
No,
I
I hear what you're saying. I'm I'm trying to figure out how to having a life goal is not everything in every aspect of your life. You know, it's
what you mean?
like I'm a business owner, like you're a business owner. Me running a business, everything in my existence doesn't have to do with that. You know what I mean? Trying to put friendships, romantic relationships, family relationships, personal hobby activities all in one lane is extremely unhealthy, right? So, like, one of the first businesses that I ran, I would say when I really got out of the streets, got straight, and was very focused, I fucked up a lot of personal relationships. I fucked up so many, like, romantic relationships and shit like that because I became unbalanced. I had no balance. I was all this. Even now, I have this podcast. I have my clothing brand. I have the books that I'm writing. I have D'Angela's company where I do all my other products. I still have to have a balance between my businesses, my work life, my personal life, and my family life. All of those can't be in the same lane.
Why can't they though? They're all kind of reaching towards the same thing.
No, no, they're not.
Give
Like
me
a
an example
personal
how.
hobby, a stress relief is not the same thing as the hours and the energy that I put into my business, right?
How is that not? So say for instance, a hobby could be fitness. You put hours into your health, and the other thing could be work. You put hours into your job, right? So what's the basis of this conversation? Because
Burnout. So, how old are you? 21, 22?
22.
To be streamlined, right? Everything has to do with one goal. You'll burn out. You'll burn out. Some people don't make it back from burning out. It is what it is. Without a balance, without a relief, without things that are separate, you'll burn out. You'll collapse. You're human. You have a brain. You have a body. You have a circulatory system. You have a heart.
So burnout comes from working too much, right?
Burnout comes from
Too much work without any rest.
overexhaustion, right? So say like I've went through burnout a couple times in my life. Like when I was a counselor, that was it. That was everything. It was who I was. It was my identity. It was what I did 12, 14 hours a day when I went home with caseloads, case files and stuff like that. There was no release. There was nowhere or nothing that I could do at that time that was outside of that. When I had free time, I was back at the rehabilitation center that I worked at, being there.
Ain't no free time.
You know what I mean? And that first heart attack, doctor told me then, yo, you need to focus on some type of self-care. You need to have some balance. When you watch people like Puff Daddy, Jay-Z, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, I don't care who the overly successful person is, they all have a time in their life where they burn out. You know, Steve Jobs wasn't Steve Jobs of Apple since he started it. There were years he was missing. You know what I'm saying? After Lisa 2, he was missing for like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, burnout is a real thing. Even now, I'm trying to get a little more balance in what I'm doing. Because my overall instinct is to go 100 in one direction. Even at my age, even having burnt out a couple times, it still takes quite a bit to go, oh man, stop, go to sleep, go fuck your chick. You know what I mean? Like, and I have to do that. I have to put that balance in. You know what I'm saying?
Why though? Why? So say for instance, alright, so I could die in the next second, right? True, fact.
True.
Okay. Not many black people make it past 25.
That's not true.
It's
It's not statistically true. It's a myth that we repeat. It's not true. There are no factual numbers to back that up.
All right. A lot of people in my hood, a lot of people where I grew up have died. Can I say that? That's true.
Yeah.
And they've died before the age of 21. So for me to reach 22, let alone 25, in a place that's not even that rowdy, like this area is kind of whack compared to other places, right? So imagine, all right. So I have lived a relatively okay life so far, but for all those people that burn every check on this and that, right? Or do whatever, and by the age of 25 or 30 or however long they live, and they don't have the means or not means, but they don't have what they needed, what they should have worked on in the past to have. So they're basically saying like, all right, if I work hard now, then by 30 or 25 actually is when I plan on it. 25, 30 is when I plan to be able to like have everything wrapped. And then I chill out. Is that something wrong with that?
I mean, if that's your plan, this is the thing. It's nothing wrong with nothing.
Why can't I retire by 30?
This is the thing. You can go on 1,000 from now until you're 40 if you want. I'm not saying anything is wrong. I'm saying you can kill yourself. You know what I mean? Like, when I had my TIA stroke, I didn't know what the fuck a TIA stroke was. You know, when the doctors are telling me, yo, this is stress induced. You are applying so much. You are making your body operate under such large amounts of stress. You had a fucking stroke. You are lucky that one half of your body is still functional. Because, you know, strokes usually, you know what I mean? All I'm saying is you can kill yourself with work. One thing I've personally learned is wisdom comes from watching older people, learning from their mistakes so that you don't make them. If you see an onslaught of what I call overly successful people, you can avoid pitfalls, right? If you read any material from these people, in all of it, they talk about self-care heavily. They talk about burnout. They talk about fatigue. And like me and you had to talk about that clock. I have that same clock of it has to happen now. I have to be on it now. Time is running out. That's not a normal clock. Most of the planet don't function off that clock.
But they should though. They do.
No,
they
that
do.
clock comes from trauma. It's not healthy.
But that clock is real.
No,
yes, that
it's
is.
not.
Me saying you could die, I could die in the next second is real.
That's true. Anybody can die at any given time. But perceiving an imminent doom and running everything in your life off this pending doom is not healthy in any way.
Hey, I never said if it was healthy or not.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
a fact that we could die.
it is more negative consequences, health-wise and life-wise, than it is positive consequences. Because not having a balance don't even allow you to really have people around you to function as a business. You become your own business and your own customer while everybody else is like, fuck that nigga. You're too caught up in your own goal to even allow people to connect with you.
I can agree with that.
You know, I know so many smart dudes that they are so into their own goal to achieve, there's no team. There's no team around them. Anybody who had believed in their vision to ride with them eventually goes, nah, he good on his own. Because one thing that I see in you that I have in me is that I don't fucking need nobody. I can do it all myself. But with age, I realize even though I can do it all by myself, I'm not supposed to, and I shouldn't. I can't be the CEO and the janitor and the fucking accountant and the secretary.
I think Nipsey Hussle thinks differently. I think he thinks differently about that.
Yeah, he had a good funeral though.
I have a wonderful, wonderful video.
Did you
for
hear what I
everybody.
just said? He had a good funeral, right?
Hold on, give me a second.
By a guy, you know, he was put there by a guy from his own neighborhood.
Here we go. Can I play this for people?
Go ahead.
Okay, let the people listen to this one.
I did everything with my process, point A to point Z. I went out and made the relationships with the producers. I took the music into my house, imported it into Pro Tools, graded the shit out, recorded myself, ran from the Pro Tools to the mic and back and forth, bounced it down, burnt it on CD, took it into the street, promoted myself, sold it myself, went to these meetings, articulated my vision to the label, signed the deal, put my first foot forward to the street with my mixtape series. This was all me. So if my engineer tell me, oh, we can't do that, I engineer, my nigga. So you get out the seat.
We're gonna take care of that.
That's not gonna work. If you go to Queens or Manhattan or Brooklyn and you want to go to every high school and surround their high schools and really do grassroots promotion, that's not gonna connect. When you don't do it, then I'll do it because I've done this and I know the effect it has.
Hey man, R.I.P. Nip Hussle, man.
Now, key one. First thing, I made the relationship with the producers. He mentioned my team 3 times. Just because he initiates and heads off things when other people may not believe that can happen, even in all of what you just played, he mentioned team and other people quite a bit. What you latched onto is, I did it myself. But every interview you watch, that strip mall, he had partners that he owned that with. He wasn't the sole owner.
That's true.
I'm a Nipsey fan just like you a Nipsey fan. But one thing I peep is how much of a team he has. Because in the song when he says, nigga, call your lawyer, we can make it real, that's not 2 people in the deal, that's 3. I was in ESCO twice, 4 commercial units. That's not a solo business endeavor. That's people. See, those are the things you got to encode when you hear things like that. I get just as motivated by listening to Nipsey since the first time I ever heard a mixtape years ago. But I think, and this goes back to age, I can hear throughout what he's saying, the team around him and the team that he assembled and all the people that believed in him. Because he didn't just make that barbershop in the strip mall and he sat there and cut everybody's hair. He did the barbershop, but he got barbers in it. He didn't work the cash register at his clothing store. He didn't manage those books by himself. When you watch those interviews and he's on his there are people there working. There are people around him. You can initiate everything yourself, right? Because you're the head of your business. So when you do have people on your team and somebody on your team is like, oh man, that ain't, or we shouldn't do that. Yeah, you're the one to go, no, okay, fuck it. I'll do it. You can park this person, Because when a person doesn't believe something can't be done, they don't put passion into it the same way as if they believe it could be done. So yeah, there's a lot of things when you have a vision that you lead, but at the same time, you have a team. There is no individual person out here. You cannot name one successful person that was 100% solo, that didn't have a team.
That's true.
Everybody has a team.
That's true.
And the reason why I stress that point is because I've led things and then been left on that boat by myself with my own dream and my own vision. But I can't navigate and roll the paddles and do all these other things. The more everything is just on you, the less quality you can put out because you're stretched everywhere.
You said I need to play that P. Diddy video for the people.
That one. What did he say? I pay you so I don't have to fucking do it.
Hold on, I got y'all, man. I got y'all, man.
You know, having it. People who are good executives know how to create teams. They know how to manage people. They know how to assess people. Put them in their lane.
Employ people. Here this go, y'all.
Need my brain to be used like that. I got too much genius shit that the world needs to see and feel. Y'all got that work to do. That's why I pay everybody so I could do less work. That's the hustle. Did y'all know that's the hustle? You make enough money to pay everybody so you don't do shit, but be as happy as you can be. I want to be happy. I pay too many people. Please. That means I don't want to do shit. Walk around this motherfucker and enjoy it. Smell it.
Sniff the flowers.
Now, two majorly successful people, and you still hear it involves other people. You know what I'm saying? And to cultivate a good team, it's just like when I had a Twitter contract, right? So I go on a migration project at Twitter in Frisco. I realized, and this was before like I ever worked for Google, right? I realized there's a reason why Twitter has this alcohol bar that goes around. There's a reason why there's all these ping pong tables and all these amenities. You make people comfortable. You make people go, I love it here. I want to see this place succeed. This is integral to my life. It doesn't really matter what the fuck the CEO of Twitter ultimate goal is. People are invested in their employment there. And it's the same at Google and all of these other tech companies. Like, nigga, when I did a Zynga contract, which is maybe 10 blocks down from Twitter, whole workout facility, juice bar, arcade, all of that shit. If people are unhappy being in your universe, if they are unhappy working for you, you have no employees. You have no one following you. Yeah. This is how also you watch companies split. Partners become enemies. You got to know how to take your goal and make it everybody's goal. You got to learn how to make people want to invest in you. That's where the genius comes in. That's where the leadership quality comes in. Because anybody can go, we're going north. So fuck you. Yeah, north's there. Why are we going north? What do I get if we go north? If I haul this equipment going north, what is in it for me? Am I going to be unhappy on this trek up north to then make you rich while I still be unhappy and unfed and unworked and unpaid? When you learn how to get people to take on your vision, when you get them to identify with it, people do the heavy lifting. If you're the brain, why are you sweeping the floor? That was one thing P. Diddy said. Mama, I got genius shit up here. I can't be caught up doing all this menial shit That's why I pay you to do it, because I have to think and create. I create the things that keeps this afloat. Those are the things that make people go, I'm here. I'm in this. Even when you look at the country and the majority of the people that join the military, it is because they believe in the idea of America. They believe in the idea of protecting it. They are patriots. So America gets shit done. They have a plethora of a fucking military, and we're a military might that rivals anybody else on this planet. Where's your army? Who's running the race with you? While you're doing whatever it is you're doing to get this business off the ground, who's cooking your dinner? Who's rubbing your feet? Who's making sure you're okay? Because you'll run yourself to death. You'll miss meals, you won't eat properly, you won't go to doctor's appointments regularly. All of these things because you're so focused on one particular thing, but you need a team for that. A team will always take you over the finish line. A good team, Attila the Hun didn't get his genes into 75% of the fucking planet by himself. He didn't conquer almost the whole globe by himself. Napoleon didn't do his moves by himself. None of these people did it on their own. But people believed in them. People bought into them. People fought for them, worked for them, loved them, cared for them, and took their vision to the next level. Steve Jobs ain't even a fucking programmer. He's not a fucking programmer. He didn't fucking make a fucking thing in Apple. Steve Wozniak is an engineer. He's a fucking programmer. He's the fat, awkward dude in the background that believed in Steve Jobs to do all the coding and to get the other engineers that he knew that were good on the fucking team. Nigga, what's the Facebook dude?
Mark Zuckerberg.
He's not a fucking programmer like that. The only fucking language he probably knows is maybe Java, C++. That's not even what the fuck Facebook is coded with. People believed in him. They worked for him. From a fucking dorm room to a goddamn building. You know what I'm saying? As motivated as you are, one of the biggest things that you'll notice in good leaders who have good teams, they've worked on their charisma and their charm.
What if I already had that? What if I was, what if, not born, not born, yeah, born with it. What if I was born with it? What if?
You're pretty. You're pretty. You're well spoken. But the downfall to being so goal driven, you run on that. People are attracted to you because pretty people attract people. People want to talk to you. People want to know you. People want to fuck you. Charm and charisma is the thing you cultivate inside yourself. Charm and charisma is when you see potential in somebody and then you make them see that potential in themselves. That's charming. When people feel good to be around you, not just for the day, not just for the week, but every time they're around you, they feel like their life is enhanced. Ego and arrogance can't do that. Ego and arrogance make people go, man, fuck this dude. There have been times in my life I've allowed my ego to completely cloud how I'm moving.
You don't think I got any charm, man?
I'm not saying that.
It's a question.
I'm not saying that.
Do you?
I'm saying where your charm is at is not where it could be. Where your charisma is at is not where it could be. Because the one thing is you're young. You still have a lot of developing to do, even in your own personality. Even in the man that you are. You're just leaving your teen years, going into adulthood. There's still so many miles to walk in self-development. There are things you're just now learning and going, wow, whoa, wait a minute. This is real. This information exists. This is some powerful. Wait a minute. Don't nobody else know about this shit? Wait a minute. Hold on. You know, there are things that are still clicking in your mind like that. I'm 40 and I'm still finding those things because self-improvement never stops. But I do realize self-improvement is a self-involved thing.
When you say burnout, right?
Yeah.
So usually when people burn out, again, that means overexhaustion. So stepping back from overexhaustion, there has to be a sense of a pace, right?
Yeah.
So you have to go from sprinting like it's the 100-meter dash to a nice calm pace as if it's a 3K, right?
Yeah.
Is there a slowdown though? Is there like, and how, if there is one? Like, how do you niggas go from sprint to almost a sprint jog?
This is the thing.
How do you
7
go
days
down?
out of the week, how much time do you spend just making yourself feel good? Just relaxing. No working out, none of that. Just self-care on you.
I probably say that's tricky. I probably say every day. It's tricky though, because for me, I would say self-care involves things like working out. For me, which is like still kind of extraneous though, because my body's active.
So working out is a double-edged sword, right? At times, it is the healthiest thing for you, but at times, it could exacerbate something going on. So if you're putting yourself under massive amounts of pressure, right? Stress and pressure, that fucks with your blood pressure, that fucks with your heart, fucks with your circulatory system, fucks with your brain function. And then you put a high level of working out on top of that. You can blow an artery, you can stroke out, you can have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Like, there are times to where you don't need to do nothing. It's like back home. I saw a masseuse hour and a half once a week. That was a time where I hit that joint, I lay on that table, I'm not thinking about my business, I'm not thinking about my kids, I'm not thinking about shit, but how this feels and just relaxing.
So if you saying just that, probably never, to be honest with you, because I feel like every time I'm doing something, I'm always thinking of, nigga, what's the next step? Like, all right, if I got 20 businesses going on, I want to know what's the next step for all 20. And if I can't figure out all 20, then at least 19.
But, okay, for that statement, and I see a lot of people, young people do this. You cannot focus on multiple business if you have not had one successful one yet. If you have not had one successful business, you need to only focus on one, make that successful, then you can duplicate that success. I see a lot of young people try to do multiple businesses at one time. You're just starting. You ain't even went from beginning to end with a business to be trying to do it with 6 businesses.
But what if they're all like kind of tied
I understand
together?
it connected. You do them in increments. You have to succeed at one first. It's just like a franchise. You have to have one successful business. If it's a fast food joint, if it's a clothing store, if it's a whatever, once you have the look, the brand, the menu, the this, the that, and it's successful and it's generating customers and a profit margin and all of these things, now you can duplicate that. But to try to do 3 or 4 or 5 successful businesses at one time and you've never done it, the rate of failure at that is probably 98%.
Could I break something down for you and then you help me break it down even more?
Yeah, definitely.
So say for instance, or not say for instance, this is exactly what it is. I have ScoFit. So ScoFit is Stigler and Company Fitness right? So it's just a fitness brand, and that includes just working at like personal training, right? So then you have personal training, and while you're personal training, you're filming the people train, right? And the filming part is another business. Let me just finish what I got to say, then you can go ahead and comment. So I have the fitness, then you have the media that covers the fitness, and then you have the clothing that you wear while you're doing all of that. Those are all three different businesses. Are you saying that is too much? How do you break that down? What is the focus? Like what yeah.
So taking an area like fitness and breaking every aspect down into separate businesses. Clothing, the personal training, the content that you create from the personal training.
Right.
Is a little different than having like a fitness company, a clothing company, a car company, and these companies that are very separate. So if you're taking one thing and splitting it into different businesses, you don't actually want to split them into different businesses in the beginning.
Okay.
When you look at major corporations, right, that launch, it takes a minute before they begin to break the company up into subsidiaries.
Okay.
Right? So, Nike and Jordan. You got a Nike Air hoodie on, right?
Shout out my sponsors.
It took a while before Jordan became a subsidiary of Nike.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But the brand, he built that brand. Well, Nike built that brand with him, and they ran together for quite a while.
Right.
Before it became an offshoot. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about like this one lane and then breaking that down, you have to really look at that as one in the beginning.
Okay.
Right? Because you'll miss shit, right? So you're videotaping people working out.
Yes.
But do you own that content? Because you could be doing that, but nobody's signing the contract to sign over the rights of the footage. So now legally you can't even do anything with the footage because at any time somebody can go, you don't own that footage.
What if my people are the ones that's filming it though?
Well, that's banking that people never change, which is, you don't really know how that's going to turn out, right? So you could have a cat who rides with you, who's all up into this shit, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? Cultivating relationships and making people happy in riding with your vision. 2 years down the road, this guy could feel very unfulfilled and fuck off so much of your content because he's in it and you don't have the actual rights to that footage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you look at Kevin Hart and with that shit he went through in Las Vegas, his friend drugged him, got the 2 chicks in the video and all that shit to create content to blackmail him. This is a guy that's been with him from the beginning, but the guy felt very not fulfilled in being in this camp. And then he turned. You don't know who's going to do that. You don't know who's going to be the person for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years has been festering this feeling of not being fulfilled while he's putting in work in your vision. So I'm just saying, it's things like that when you're spreading yourself all over the place that you could miss. You know what I'm saying? Which is why if you have a team, you shouldn't be running the clothes. You shouldn't be running the media. You should be managing the people who run these divisions. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what if I don't, like, say, I was told, like, I listened to this one Nipsey Hussle video where he's basically saying, like, he needed to, he took some time to become everything. So, like, he said in that video, oh, nigga, I do engineering, so, nigga, if you can't do it, I'm gonna do it. Oh, I do producing, oh, nigga, if you can't do it, I'm gonna do it. I remember it wasn't in that video, but it was in a different video where he basically said, like, he took time to learn all of those things.
Yeah.
First, before he could teach anybody else to do it for him.
Yeah, you learn all those things, which gives you the skill to manage somebody correctly.
Right.
And what a boss has to do at the end of the day, if my employee can't meet this goal, I need to step in and clear that gap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you're employing people and you're building a team, yes, you knowing how to do the things is important. You doing all of the things all of the time is not healthy. You know what I mean? Like, that's... And again, like, when you watch those interviews of Nipsey Hussle, like, yes, he knows all of these things, but he clearly has a team. Right. Because he didn't sit in the car with Black in the video while he was also shooting the video. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to employ people. You have to know how to manage people. You have to know how to be able to delegate responsibilities. Because at the end of the day, nigga, if you stroke out what happened to the dream, what happened to these people's jobs? You know what I'm saying?
R.I.P. Nip Hussle.
If you work yourself to death and then the company crumbles because you spread too thin, then what do people do? One of the things about running a business is you become responsible for people's livelihoods. Feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yeah, after this, we're going to have to talk a little more off cam about some of these things, breaking it down a little more. But, yeah, I needed that. So how does that then affect, or how do you put that into, like, your personal life? Say, for instance, like, with your relationships, even with, like, your parents. Because, like, I had my mom call me earlier today, and she was just like, son, I really love how you're, like, becoming so hardworking and blah, 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 but, we still haven't kicked it. It's been a long time. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, I'm going to make some time. So, like that. How do you really, like... Because I even find that, like, my parents...
You have to feel people are important.
What if... See, that's the thing, though, bro.
Because you feel like you're important. You got the dream. You got the plan. Everybody else is riding on your train. People have to be important to you. I moved to the Northwest May of 2017. It is, what's this month?
April.
It is April 2019. I have cultivated a network since I've been here of people who genuinely love and care about me. How do you do that in that amount of time? I'm always available to people, and I'm always available to them in the most authentic and genuine way possible. Because to me, people are important.
I agree.
When my truck just broke down, I haven't been here long enough for people to be like, nigga, I'm on my way right now. I got you. I'm like, man, I got gas money. Man, I got you. I'm on my way. But I stand behind people. I lay myself out for people in a manner that makes them lay it out for me.
That's tricky, though, bro. Growing up, it's tricky, bro. Because, especially within my, like, community, it's just been, like, I don't know, being Black in Portland and stuff, it just almost feel like, at times, a lot of those people that you say, okay, you gotta... People are important, right?
Yeah.
But what if growing up, it was not always reciprocated like that? What if growing up, it wasn't always reciprocated like that towards you? So it almost felt like you were at a low point. So then you really got to build up and make yourself feel important now. Because you was growing up, you was almost felt like you wasn't important.
You have never been betrayed in your life the way that I've been betrayed in my life. Where I'm from, walking up to my homeboy house and he got the front window open and I can hear him, my best friend, and my other nigga plotting on robbing me. Family. Like, where I'm from, it is so cutthroat. It is so hard to survive in those environments But even in that, there are lessons to be learned, right? When you are in an ocean and all you see is great white sharks, first of all, you got to be the biggest great white shark amongst them. Secondly, you have to begin to watch people and pay attention to people, because nobody makes a move without a reason. It could be jealousy, it could be anger, it could be some little petty issue, whatever it is. I do more people watching and people analysis more than anything. I watch people. I watch how they move. I watch how they think. I watch what they believe is important. I watch what they say, what they do, how that lines up. Like I say, I trust everybody on this planet 100%
To do exactly
what they are going to do.
what they're gonna do.
Like I say, you can have a friend that you can trust him with every dollar you ever had, but you can't trust him 5 minutes with your woman. You got a partner, you can't trust him with $1, but you can trust him around your woman, your kids, whoever. Everybody's got weak points and everybody's got strengths. If you watch the person, not self-projecting your shit onto them, when you really watch them, you see where people are strong at, you see where people are weak at. You trust people to be strong in what they're strong in, not what you think they should be strong in. You don't put people in positions to where you know they're weak. You remember New Jack City? Why the fuck would you send a crackhead with a wire into a crack house? What the fuck are you thinking? You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you know this person is weak in this particular thing, you don't never put them in that situation. I only deploy people in what I know they're strong in. There's no way I'm going to have somebody on my team and know that they have a weakness and call them to be in any type of lane where that weakness is tested. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was in the streets, you know which one of your boys is snitches. Why is he in the car? Why is he in the room? Why is he in the conversation? Anything and everything he doing, he should never have any information. So that when he's took down, he don't have nothing to tell nobody. Because he don't know shit. Nothing. Because you know he weak like that. You got partners who you know, they could be pressed by the police, by the feds. They could be threatened with life in prison and they ain't gonna never crack. Nigga, that's a shooter. That's who the fuck you send to go do some work. That's who's in the room when the conversation happens. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Even when it comes to just people in your personal life. I don't put personal friends in positions that I know they can't handle. I'm not finna, my older brother Emmett, this nigga is not a shooter. I have never took this motherfucker on anything with me ever. I've never put him in that position, and I've never disrespected him or looked at him less than because he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I knew what his skills was. I know what to call him for. I let him do that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Even when I deal with a woman, I know where she's strong at. I know where she's weak at. I'm not finna berate her because she's weak in these areas. But I am gonna big her up on her strengths and I'm gonna elevate those. Because nobody's worthless. Nobody's useless.
You said I should really slow down and pay attention, take some time out.
Patience. Man, a marathon is not a 20-yard dash.
I was never fast on the 20-yard dash, by the way. I was always an 800 runner.
You know the story about the rabbit and the tortoise, right?
I do.
It's one of the oldest fables ever.
The rabbit and the tortoise.
Yeah. Tortoise always wins. You running too fast. You burning out. That tortoise keeps a very steady, slow pace. from the beginning to the race to the finish line.
I'm saying, how do I really, like, you say I just gotta work on my traumas myself, bro.
You listening
Take
to,
some time out.
You listen to Nipsey Hussle, but obviously he had balance. It's very obvious his woman and his children love the fuck out of him, right? That don't come from your ass being at work every second of every day. That comes from spending family time and really paying attention to your woman and your kids and your family. Just as much as you pay attention to your business. Right?
Debatable, but yeah.
I'm just saying. Balance is very important. The people around you are important. No general ever won a war by himself. You need an army. And in every army, there are different divisions, there are different ranks. There's medics, there's infantry, there's heavy gunners, there's a Navy, there's an Army, there's a Marine.
Heavy gunners are always slow though.
But they don't have to be fast because you have fast people.
Yeah, I know.
You know, an army is important. You know, when you cultivate shit, patience and paying attention is key. Always learning, always reading, always studying. You know what I mean? You say Nipsey Hussle, I say Dos-Equis. When you watch that goddamn beer commercial, he's not the most interesting man in the world because all he knows is beer. He's the most interesting man in the world because he's done everything. And he's well-rounded and he's experienced. He don't even say his lines in the commercial fast. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Check this out. I want you to close your eyes and envision a field with a big hill. And at the top of the hill is a tree. Underneath this tree is an old ass bull. Right?
A bull like myself or like an actual bull?
Actual bull.
Oh, okay.
And that old bull is looking down on the flat plains at this young bull. And he's just chasing cows around. Chasing them and he can't catch them. And then the young bull, he gets tired. He comes up to the top of the hill. And the old bull goes, man, what are you doing? Why are you chasing them cows? He says, man, I'm trying to fuck one. And I can't catch him. And the old bull says, why are you running? He says, man, I got to catch one. He catches his breath and he takes off down the hill again. He's chasing the cows and he can't catch them. He gets tired. He comes back up the hill. The old bull says, hey, man, just take a break. Just watch me for a minute. The old bull just saunters down the hillside. When he gets to the flat land, nobody's running. He's just walking. And he walks up to a cow and he fucks a cow. And then he gets off that cow and he walks over to another one and he fucks another cow. And he fucks like 5, 6 of them. And then he walks back up the hill because now he's tired. And the young bull is like, how in the fuck did you do that? He says, man, you're running too fast. You're scaring everybody around you. You're making them panic. Slow the fuck down. Stop trying to run into the crowd and fuck one of them. Take your time and fuck them all. That's why I say patience is key. Patience, planning, take your time. Money ain't going nowhere. As long as you don't walk out into the middle of the street and get smacked by a goddamn truck or just some random ass shit, you'll be alive. Take some time, plot, plan, carry your points out. There's no need to rush through life. Because when you rush, you trip, you stumble, you bust your fucking head. You scare all the goddamn cows and you don't get no pussy. And that's a shame. Feel what I'm saying?
It's a fucking shame. I feel what you're saying. I started drooling.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. And we are back. So, D was getting ready to, no, matter of fact, let's roll that back. So, during the break, please stop harmonizing. So, during the break, I was explaining to D the purpose of giving somebody an affirmation, giving somebody positive feedback, big up in somebody. And he made a comment to where, well, I don't need that. See, that's self-projecting on other people. You're a leader. You don't treat everybody how it is that you work. That's not how it works. Learning how people work, learning who needs what. Like, nigga, you're not gonna put milk in your gas tank. Milk works for you. It builds calcium in you. It helps your body run, but nigga, a car ain't gonna run off milk. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of.
Now, you were getting ready to say something. What was that you were getting ready to say?
Hey, let me pull up these lyrics real quick. I always refer back to lyrics, y'all. That's music is like my thing. Music is, yeah, my thing. Just give me half a second. Penelope, you want to talk about something?
Seeing something lit. T, can you do me a favor? You see that orange book on that bookshelf right there?
Yeah.
Can you grab that for me? And then that red one that says The Art of War.
Yeah. Oh, this is this is fancy.
Now,
I like these.
oh, these are power right here. These is,
Right here. Right here. I found it. All right. You ready?
go ahead.
He said, I'm going to start from kind of a little bit before so you can kind of get the basis. He said, never get sloppy drunk, but alcohol is problem solving. And look, I hate it when you hate on all my girlfriends and assistants, always convinced that there's someone better. Like that girl from the gym who changed you. I know you want to arrange it. You told me she's free Thursdays, and I'm sure that she's an angel, but she don't want this life. The timing ain't right. Maybe one day, but even one day is the time of our life. We do things that people pay to document. You got your sweetest heart, but I'm not here to give out compliments or boost nobody's confidence, mama. I got no friends with this mama. I don't pretend with this mama. I don't joke with this mama. I pulled a knife out my back and I cut their throats with it, mama. I'm Game of Thrones with it, mama. I'm Home Alone with it, mama. It's like, I really hate using this tone with you, mama. And it keeps going. But basically, the part that I was emphasizing there is where he said, you got the sweetest heart, but I'm not here to give out compliments or boost nobody's confidence, mama. Hey, I didn't write these lyrics. These is Drizzy Drake's. I got no friends with it, mama. I don't pretend with this, mama.
Now, can I read some lyrics to you?
Sure. Is that out of the Bible? Oh, man, I don't want to listen to that. Is that the Bible?
Law 19.
Law.
No. Now, your idol.
Okay.
Somebody that motivates you deeply.
Okay.
As I read this, think about this.
Okay.
Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Law 19. There are many different kinds of people in the world, and you can never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Deceive or outmaneuver, some people will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. There are wolves in lamb's clothing. Choose your victims and opponents carefully. Then never offend or deceive the wrong person. Why? You haven't lived really long enough to understand how long somebody can hold on to an offensive comment. how long somebody can hold on to the smallest, pettiest grievance. And
Not yet, but
when that will fuck you up and tilt your dominoes over.
12 years old. I'm now 22. That's 10 years later. Person still hate me. I don't get it.
But you should get it.
I don't get it.
Any person who
Nigga, I'm
dislikes
12.
me, hold on.
12. What the fuck I do? I'm 12.
But at your age now, you should be able to assess and know why.
Oh, I know why. But
Now.
like, I'm just saying, like, niggas was 12. Like,
That's okay.
What am I? What are we still tripping? Like,
But the point is,
12.
right? For all the people in this city that I know, or a matter of fact, a quote from your idol, there's no smut on my rep anywhere. You can go to California, you can go from the Bay Area to LA, you can go to Philly to New York, you can go to Springfield, Illinois, East St. Louis, you can go to Chicago, you can go to Toronto, you can go to Belize, you can go to Costa Rica, you can go to Cuba, anywhere I've ever touched down. There is nobody who can say I ever got smut on me, that I ever maneuvered shady. You can't even find anybody in the city to go, fuck that nigga, I hate him. There are people that I've done things to in this city that even if you talk to them, man, I don't fuck with that nigga, but he cool. Oh, why you don't fuck with him? Man, but he cool though. Because even when I hurt you, you know you deserved it. Every fucking person, every homeless motherfucker, every woman, every person that I interact with, that I talk to, that I make eye contact with, I am ever present on how I'm dealing with that person. In my life, I've watched shit come back around. I've watched things come out of nowhere. I've watched my homeboy leave the streets, go into the church, become a reverend. 15 years to watch a nigga come out of prison doing a 20-year sentence to kill him the next day he was free. You don't ever know what off comment, what little thing you might say will create an enemy.
But that's what I'm saying though. So say, okay, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying like, so why do I need to give somebody a compliment? Why do I need to make them feel better?
Because people need to work for you. You don't need to work for them.
So say for instance, it's a good example. Big one. I was talking to this girl the other day about it, and she was basically saying how like a lot of the times when girls or guys approach her, like say for instance at the club or whatever, it's always what's the word I'm looking for? It's always with a compliment, basically, right? And she said she really didn't like that. Okay, so and speaking of when you were also saying like the world isn't like blunt, basically isn't how things should go, right?
No. I didn't say it isn't how things should go.
Or I mean,
it's not how things go.
Not how things go, right? So, after growing up in a household where it was like communication and honesty was the only thing you should do, right? And then dealing with people, say for instance in like middle school, high school, or just through your times, you've always dealt with those people that are like, I would much rather you tell me how things are straight up, like right in the beginning before anything, blah blah blah, right? Okay, cool. So then you take on that type of stuff and just carry it along with you, and that's how you just kind of communicate. But it seems like that's only like a selective few. Is that what you're saying? Like basically,
No.
again, just knowing who you're dealing with, or
truth has nuance to it, right? So you can't put this woman hates being in a club and every guy that comes up to her giving her a compliment in the same category as truth of paying an employee a compliment on the work that they're doing. You can't put that in the same category as
that's different.
Truth in a relationship. Truth has nuance, right? What I'm saying is in the avenue that you're working in with your business endeavors and where you're trying to go, knowing how to reaffirm somebody's worth is a benefit to you and them.
So you're not saying like compliment them on their looks. You're saying compliment them on their.
I'm saying figure out what affirmation they need, because it's not a lie, right? When I pay somebody a compliment, it's not made up.
Right.
I've took time to see what they're putting effort and energy into, or what they feel is important to them, and acknowledging that I see that. Acknowledging that I appreciate that. It's not like telling somebody who's doing a fucked up job, hey, good job. You know what I'm saying? I may tell that person, yo, I see the effort that you're putting into that, but you are doing it wrong. This is how it's supposed to be done. You know, in business, even with the relationships, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I hate going back to the pimp shit, but it's the purest form of how these things work. You can't have a woman running that blade hoeing all night and be like, yeah, that's what you should do. Because then why the fuck is she going to do it again? You got to make her proud that she's doing that. You got to make her feel like she's accomplishing something. If you think you're going to get a woman to suck dick all night and then give you the money for that and be like, yeah, bitch, that's what you should be doing. That's not how it works. It's a reason why corporations have went from, you know, corporations. So like in my generation, corporations patted you on the back with bonuses. Your generation, companies don't do payout and bonuses anymore. Awards are what your generation adheres to more. So instead of getting, you know, a 20% bump in pay, a millennial feels better with some award. You know, company dinner, bring you up. Oh, this is for 2 years of dedication and we acknowledge and da-da-da-da. They'll work themselves to death for the next 5 years just to get another award. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
My generation, that money is what we interpreted as the pat on the back. You see me work good enough, you gave me a raise.
Right.
But companies know how to do the same thing with each generation that's in the workforce.
That's coming down, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The next generation, it may be something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? It may be off time. You know what I mean? Giving an employee an award of 2 weeks extra vacation may get them to work triple time for the rest of the year.
So hold on, let's take a step back. So for safe people for your generation, right? As far as like money goes, you said you get a bonus, and that's how you feel better, right?
Yeah.
So then, how would you translate like that type of work stuff to personally per generation? So for somebody that, okay, your bonus was money, and that's how your mind is, right? How do you reward them personally, like a personal thing, or like say for instance?
Okay. I got exactly
You get
what
what I'm
you're
saying?
saying.
Okay.
Right. Can I use you guys as an example?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Do you like her cooking?
Yes.
Does she cook for you?
Yes.
If you're exhausted, you say, yo, T, can you come over to the house and cook dinner? Will she do it?
Yes.
Has she ever sucked your dick in a manner that made you go, yeah, I don't like that?
No.
Does she fuck you right?
Mm-hmm.
Does she listen to whatever the fuck comes out your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
How many times have you took a solid day to just reward her for that? Just a day. Yo, Saturday, me and you, nothing else, phone off, whatever you want to do.
Probably never.
How many berating comments do you make in a day versus affirmations?
Unbalanced.
More berating?
Probably.
What's wrong? What would you say is wrong with your leadership skills? Because a bad employee is reflective of a bad leader.
Right.
Even when you see something you don't like in a partner, an employee, or whatever, berating creates depression, creates distance, doesn't create a good workflow. It's not motivating, right? Rewards are motivating. Positive reaffirming is motivating. Nothing you should ever say should be a negative. And nothing that you say should ever just be you. I'm going this way, nigga, we need to go this way. Why? Why do I need to go that way with you? Because whether it's her or any other woman, if it's just I'm going this way, you want to fuck with me, you need to go this way, nobody's really going to stay on that team. Because now you're going to hit a point to where not only do you got to run every part of your business from top to bottom, now you got to run every part of your own life. You're human. You don't think you're going to break? You'll break. Sometimes, like I say, knowing where to deploy somebody. A general don't look at a map in time of war and see troops and enemies over here at this border and then send his troops way to fuck off somewhere else. No, you look at where the enemy is at, where the target is at, and you align your troops and your army for combat with that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Everything is a strategy. Okay, I got to figure out what day can I just kill off everything to spend with my mama? Because if I don't spend this day with her, I don't spend this time with her, our connection will begin to taper. The bond will fade. How do I reward my woman? How do I create this time? Because part of being a boss is good time management. You have to know how to balance time as well. Not just goals, but time is important. What do companies do with employees? There's a reason why all companies have specific break times, specific lunch times. It's not by chance why 15-minute breaks, 30-minute lunch. Research shows you work so many hours, you get a break, you can reheat yourself, go a couple more hours, get this long of a lunch, you can reheat yourself, go into your next break. Those things aren't by chance. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, giving yourself a break to have a meal, focus on somebody else. Throughout the week, you got 7 days in a week. Even if it's just an evening. Yo, tonight, this is dinner, this is chilling. We're going to watch a movie. We're going to lay in the bed. Sometimes that's all that's fucking needed. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what the people around you need. If you look around you and you are not fulfilling anybody's needs, you're going to have a mutiny on your hands. What happens to the captain of the ship when the crew mutinies? You usually walk the plank, or they cut your fucking head off. At all times, you got to remember you're the leader, you're the captain. You have more responsibility than anybody else to make everybody else happy. Content. Get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. There's so much of my time that is more spent on people than logistics. Because people will handle the logistics. I handle the people. Anybody have anything they want to add?
I agree. V, you are high as hell.
She cool. She chilling.
Yeah, no, cool. You know,
People will handle the logistics. I handle the people. Funny thing is, Nipsey Hussle once said, "Don't come up and talk to me like I'm the talent. I am not the talent. I am the executive director of the talent. I get the talent going, but don't look at me like I'm the talent." It's genius.
Okay.
It's genius.
So one thing, right? Everybody has an image, right?
R.I.P. Nip Hussle.
You do have to be able to separate the image that Nipsey was selling, what his image is, right? And what's going on behind the scenes. When you are selling an image, when you're when you're an entertainer or any of that, even a businessman, you have an image, you have a reputation. It's well cultivated. But that is not always what is behind the scenes. What Nipsey was as far as a motivator, the image that he was selling to young people, to entrepreneurs, to people who needed to be self-starters, is a good one, but it's not 100% true at face value. Like I say, there's a large team behind him. You know what I mean? He was the fucking talent.
He was a rapper.
You know what I'm saying? But not just a rapper, he was a speaker.
Yeah, he was a speaker too, exactly.
You know what I mean? That is a talent.
Yeah.
What he's really trying to say is, don't come to me like I'm the help. Don't come to me like I'm the help and somebody else is the boss. That's really what he's trying to say in that thing right there. Because that also happens. You'll have somebody like Jay-Z. Nigga, you're the talent. You're the boss. You've been the boss. And it does get fucked up and twisted when somebody will come at you like you're one of the rappers on your label. When they don't see, yeah, you're the talent, but you're also the fucking boss. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you were saying something, T?
oh, man. I lost it.
You lost
It's a whole conversation had passed and it's gone.
Okay, let me ask you. What is your reward? What is a reward for you?
A reward, like in any aspect?
No, like in your relationship between you two. What is a reward for you? Because I said I'm going to use you two as an example.
Okay, like a reward that I've gotten or like something that I would like in the relationship?
Something that you would like. Something that is really a hope. Like when you do things or you're in things, you go, I would like this, or I hope this would happen.
I would say just like a verbal appreciation, acknowledgement, at like a, and that's at like a basic level. But I would say, just something like thoughtful, I would say, that is like, that shows that like you like put thought into this, or like what I would like, or like just something that would just make me smile, make me happy, not necessarily like something monetary. Maybe like a cute little note. It's nothing much or excessive, I would say.
Now
that we start talking, actually, I'll just shut up.
no. Say what you.
You know what? What I said doesn't suffice. It's not great in detail. It's actually, it's a rough draft. We threw it away already. Go ahead.
You know, personally, like, when I'm dealing with the female, whether it's we just have a sexual relationship or whether we have like a serious relationship, I do take notes. Favorite movies, favorite color, worst trauma, greatest day of their life, what kind of perfume they like, makeup brand, different things, right? As men, we tend to not pay attention to these things. But if you take notes, when that time comes, because just for an example, anniversaries, motherfuckers don't never know what to get their woman. But she told you all through the year what she liked. If you would have took a note, it's nothing to go get it, know what it is, have it there. You know what I mean? I take notes. I pay attention. Put it like this. Sexually, right? When I started escorting when I was a teenager, I really realized one thing. I'm a dude. I'm going to come regardless. It's automatic. It's going to happen. So I can wait on mine. You know what I'm saying? That's why I developed a 10-to-1 ratio. 10 of their nuts to 1 of mine. Because usually when I have mine, I'm done. Women can keep going. Their nuts are different. Their orgasms are different than ours.
You hit one, you're done? One and done?
Mostly. Nigga, I'm not 20 no more. I'm 40. I'm running 3-4 hours. You know what I'm saying? After I didn't get her to come so many times in like 4 hours, when I hit this one, I'm done. There's a lot of times I don't come at all. Wow. My point, like, my goal ain't my nut. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? I'm a very psychological person.
You think it's mental. Sex is mental.
Yes.
And that
no, it's 50-50. It's mental and physical.
Okay, mental and physical. But I'm saying basically like once you tell yourself you're ready to nut, nut's coming. Nut's there. It's already gone.
No, sometimes
it happened already.
I mean, sometimes I'm so focused on her.
I'm saying
I just can't.
I'm saying when
I'm ready.
Purely focusing on like nigga, I'm trying to nut. Like nigga,
yeah, when I'm ready. Yeah, I can.
It's there.
Yeah.
Because that's the mental part, right?
Yeah.
And do you think that? I'm not saying for me personally. Let me just go ahead and get that out the way for all listeners and yeah, people know. But for those that
that was such a large ego right there. That was,
it almost hit me in the face, honestly.
Oh man, for those who don't last long, I actually have a neighbor. It's kind of sad. It's very saddening.
Oh yeah,
it's very saddening.
Okay, let me dispel that myth right there. Right,
I have a neighbor that
the length of time really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Because you can fuck a woman for 4 or 5 hours. If she only came once, she only came once. If you can make her come 20 times in 30 minutes, what do you think is more satisfying?
That's true. That is very true. But bro, I'm saying, bro, maybe I'm giving my guy 35 strokes. That's about 3 minutes, bro. I swear to God.
It's almost at the same time every day.
Same time of the day, same like duration of time, and it's like a miracle. I don't know how this is, and it's not the first time I've heard of it, but I'm asking, that's mental.
So
Correct or not?
question: how many times a week is he fucking?
Every single day at
Okay.
the same time of
So-
the day for the same duration of time.
Hold on.
It's
But
like
this is where
a
the
miracle.
This is where the marathon come in at, right?
This is a fucking miracle to me.
If a guy is fucking his woman every day just for 30 minutes,
For 3 minutes,
3 minutes,
nigga.
oh, he need to kill himself.
5. Bro, I'm telling you, bro. 5 tops.
That just blew all of what the fuck I was gonna say.
Bro.
3 minutes,
5 minutes tops, bro.
or I would say this:
it's like
5
embarrassing.
minutes, right? Okay, let's just say 5 minutes. If he can make her climax in 5 minutes, and he's doing that every day, what do you think? Like, oh, I fuck her once a month and make her come weighs up against an orgasm a day.
So say for instance, what would you say? I fuck her once a month, I make her come 30 times, or I fuck her once every day a month and make her come once.
What makes a woman feel more special? I make you come every day, or I make you come a whole bunch of times once a month.
Yeah, that's tough, boy. That's a tough one. I don't know, cause
And the fact that
I'm not a woman. I can't speak for him. So
this is also a thing too, man. And for a lot of young guys, man,
Yeah,
just
cover
to
your
kind
eyes.
of
He know the answer.
to put shit in perspective, I guarantee you, I can please a woman better with one finger than you can with your dick. Guaranteed.
oh fuck. Oh, please excuse my language for all the kids that's listening, but god
I
dang,
hope there's not.
that one. The ego just slapped me right
I
in the
know,
face. It
because
slapped
you
me
gotta
right in the
think of,
face.
I've been you, you never been me. I've been your age, I've been where you're at.
But this is the thing with like older people too. I really don't get this about older people, right? You guys think just because you guys lived on like the world like longer than us that you have experienced all these things like much more than me, but how is that always necessarily true? Because you could have a nigga that's 40 and not experience
True.
shit.
Age has not educated everybody the same. I'm not talking every man that's 40.
You saying you personally?
Me personally.
His personal finger.
So you,
And this
yeah,
is
yeah,
not-
yeah. He's
hold
a lot
on.
of confidence in
This
the
is
one
not
finger.
a diss or anything towards you, but it's the fact of there was a time when an older guy told me that when I was your age, and I felt exactly how you feel now, and I thought exactly what you're thinking now, and it took me a couple years after that to realize I didn't even ask the question on how did you develop that skill to even be able to do that? Because I just thought it was an immediate impossibility because of the ego I had in my fucking.
Wow.
The crazy thing about it is, like, even after I did all this laughing and stuff, which I do think it's impossible, but I'm gonna say that. But my next question was actually going to be, if that is the case, then please tell me how you got there. That
How
is
I got
actually,
there?
I was literally going to ask that, which was funny.
The journey started with the Grafenberg papers, right?
No,
What?
you said right. What's right?
No, I said the journey for me started with the Grafenberg papers.
Right. And I said no. What's that?
The Grafenberg papers?
That's, yeah, no.
It was the physician who first did the studies on the G-spot and the actual inner orgasmic workings of the vagina.
The Grafenberg
Because
spot.
up until his work, there was no work done regarding a woman's orgasm at all. Women's orgasm still could get you put in an insane asylum as hysteria. So with his research came this door of the beginning of understanding that a woman's orgasm was on the level of what we had. It was pleasurable. They weren't crazy, right? Even the studying of the walls of the vagina, what a clitoris, you know, the very first actual studies of a clitoris and pleasure centers and stuff like that. So with his research, like reading his work at age 14, well, 15, was the beginning of my journey, right? Realizing that a dick can't even really hit all of the spots in a vagina that leads up to a maximum orgasm. And the bigger you are, you're really only hitting the cervix. You know what I'm saying? Because your dick is too big to hit 2 inches in. You're going 7. You're going 8. You're far surpassing the goddamn G-spot with every fucking stroke. You know what I'm saying? You're really only hitting the cervix. And even when you do certain positions, if you're above 6 inches, you're still hitting 4 inches in certain positions. There is certain shit that your dick just can't do. Period. You know what I'm saying? Getting that understanding, a lot of men don't even get that understanding, so they never remove their dick out of the situation. They never remove their penis from the understanding of how orgasms and climaxes work, the different spots in the vagina. They just don't. The majority of men, all of their understanding on pleasuring a woman is centered around their dick. If your penis is the center of your thought process on pleasing a woman, you failed already. You fail. To know how to make a woman cry, faint, go into a seizure, and things like that, your dick is not doing that. Plus, in most communities, what we see as men is pain, right? When you're young, when you first watch porn, and you first hear other dudes talk about it, what they're relaying to you is pain. Because a man will jump in a pussy and be so aggressive and interpret the pain that a woman is internally feeling as her pleasure.
Right.
That is very pervasive in a man's mind when they're young, as they're even constructing sex, especially in the black community where the average dude is big. You know what I'm saying? It is this, if I beat it up, if I tear it down, I'm doing something. You know what I'm saying? What it takes to learn how to really seduce a woman, to make a woman orgasm, and you haven't even touched her pussy. That's something. That's learning a skill. That's learning a trait. Most men won't even comprehend the reality of making a woman orgasm and you ain't even touched her pussy. You ain't even pulled your dick out your pants. That is a height of seduction that far exceeds what a lot of men will grasp.
And is that a book, or is that just like personal experience, or is that
It's a collection of all of it. It's
Okay.
a collection of actual book knowledge. It's a collection of experience. It's a collection of trial and error. One of the things I was telling you is you got to find what's your type. I know exactly what kind of seducer I am. I know very well what women see in me that they like, and I know how to polish that.
What type of seducer are you?
I'm a rake.
A rake?
A rake.
Rake him in.
What's rake mean?
A rake is like Don Juan, something like that. When I fix my attention on a woman, she believes nothing else in the universe exists but her. She believes like nothing else matters. My actions, my touch, the way I court her, nothing else is more important than her. A woman will walk in the world and she'd be just as beautiful as every other woman, feel average, feel less than. She'll go into the work world, work all day, no appreciation for that. Dudes walking all over her. She's submissive in her family, parents, whatever. Treat her however. When she steps in my universe, nothing can touch her. Nothing is on the level as her. Nothing else exists. She is the center of everything.
Is there like a list of that? Is that some shit I can look up? Like, what's the...
Yeah, you got the book. It's 9 seducer types. each chapter is broke down through the seducer types.
I got the book.
Yeah, the art of seduction.
Oh, yeah, I got that book.
Right? But I mean, then you got like The Game by Neil Strauss. I mean, there's so many collections that kind of go over these things, right? When you look at people in general, you look at famous people, you look at people who court attention. Barack Obama to fucking Marilyn Monroe. These are people who have learned what their charisma is, what their seducer type is when they stand in front of people, when they talk to people, when they're in a conversation with people. They know how to deliver the best of themselves in that. It's not about faking anything. It's not about trying to create something in you that's not real. It's about knowing what is in you that needs to be polished and shaped so that you offer the best of you in the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's constant work, because there are times in my life to where I get lazy, I get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And I forget what my responsibilities are. I forget that everything is work. You know what I'm saying? But because I know those things, I can catch myself and I can pull myself up and I can go, okay, I got to get back on my game. I got to do what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Skills, learning. I spend a lot of time in the armory. You know what I'm saying? The armory is a place in Frisco where like kink.com films all their shit. I've went through the B.D.S.M, S&M community for years. Learning how to be a proper dom, learning proper technique. Like, I spent a lot of time learning how intimacy works, learning techniques, learning how to craft what I'm good at. Like, nigga, I can say hands down, nigga, there's no straight man whose head is better than mine. Like, the only time you gonna find a nigga who can eat pussy better than me is a chick. Period.
Debatable.
Okay. I got income statements to prove how good my shit
I got
was.
income statements.
You know what I'm saying?
God
but I'm just
damn.
saying, like, but it took so much time.
The income statements to prove how good your head is.
But this is the thing, like, so attention, right? Most men feel like they're learning things, right? But they're really kind of fumbling through the dark. You're with this woman, you do some things, she may climax from this kind of may get her off. But to study the woman, like you study to be a doctor in college, is a different thing. I just have spent so many years studying that. Studying. Like, nigga, books, notes, teaching PUA classes and all that shit. I've never been told no, not once. I've never really failed. Yeah, I've never really failed to make what's supposed to happen. And I say it like that because I'm not just talking about like the sexual part. You know what I'm saying? Anytime relationships have ended with me, either I've gotten tired or bored. It's never been I didn't provide. You know what I'm saying? Because I also don't like to let shit, once I'm disconnected, to let a whole bunch of time go where I'm not satisfying and providing what I'm supposed to in a relationship to make the other person go, I'm done with this. When I know I'm disconnected, I let it go right there. You know what I'm saying? Any other relationships that I've had, like even like my marriage, that was her flight. You know what I'm saying? Her feeling like the responsibility she had as a wife and a mother was too much. And now she want to come back. Well, you experienced all of that shit, so, you know, peace be on to you. Godspeed. I wish you well. But I don't know, man. I just always try to get guys to spend that time to really study, fucking pay attention.
That's funny because I actually have a fellas. This is for the fellas. The quote of the day, not quote, but as a paragraph, a little passage. It says, "So the sex therapist or whatever is telling people how the vagina works, and is stimulated, and basically how to turn women on and pleasure them, and why are the replies full of men saying they aren't doing all of that? Goddamn, the fucking hatred. Women as a whole, what the heck does this say? Women have whole ass videos telling each other how to please us and to basically swallow a sword because men love our dicks touching nostrils, yet you fucks can't be bothered to learn how the clitoris works in order to please a woman. Sheesh."
That's just like I had you draw a clitoris, right?
Drew it correctly.
You didn't draw the whole clitoris. You draw a hood and you drew the open button. You drew the head of the clitoris.
I drew that entire. Yeah, I did. I drew
you didn't.
The U and the little egg.
No, you didn't.
The inside?
You didn't.
What am I missing? Let me see what I'm missing. Tell me what I'm missing. We got the.
In the beginning, you didn't draw the wishbone shape.
Yes, I did.
You didn't. You didn't. It is very rare when I ask somebody to draw a clitoris that they even know the whole fucking clitoris. That they even know 80% of the clitoris is in the fucking inside, and is only really stimulated from the inside because they see this knot and they go, "Oh, there it is." No, that's the fucking head. That's like saying the head of a dick is the whole dick. It ain't. You got a whole shaft and nuts that's a part of this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To get, and what's sad is, it's the same shit with women. When I try to get when I get a woman to draw it out, and they try to like draw the hood, and then they try to draw the little pearl, and then I go, "Well, what about the rest of it?" "Well, what do you mean?" And then I draw the whole entire clitoris. No, I don't have one of those. That's usually what I don't have that. I'm like, no, you have that. All of this is in your body. It's those little things.
Tricky Bicky.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to, I don't know, man. I just try to get people to study. Okay, so I will add this caveat. One of the things that probably separates how and why I've learned what I've learned is because I have a very specific fetish. That fetish is what has driven why and how I've learned things.
Is it eating vagina?
No.
Damn it.
Like, my fetish is the O.
What's the O?
It is that orgasm.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I was like,
that has driven like that desire. You know what I mean? That need.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have not produced an abundance of orgasms in a woman that I'm with, I will feel like depressed. I will feel unfulfilled and unsatisfied. I will feel all these negative things.
Yeah.
So I am extremely driven to produce as many as is physically possible. You know what I mean? Like, I have this thing in my head. I believe that there's a level of orgasm that can be reached, and I am chasing that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you ever seen a movie called Powder?
No.
Okay. Google this. powder.
Right now?
Right? Ending scene. Yeah.
At this immediate moment?
Yeah, right now. Because I need you to see this. Because without this, there's no context of what I'm talking about. We'll be right back, y'all.
Thank you.
Now, that video, I've been chasing that literally my whole life. Because, like I say, intellectually I understand it's not possible. But when I'm in that room and I'm in that moment, something tells me I can make that happen.
I can do it.
I can make that happen to her. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That has driven why I've studied and learned so much. Right. You know what I mean? Like countless hours niggas spend on video games and people spend in college. I think the day I make that happen, I can die.
I can die.
I'm done. Life is over.
Life is done.
It's done. It's completed. You know what I mean? The pyramid have been built. The tower is completed. The bridge is done. I can go.
It's all over with.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't really know how to explain because I knew I was chasing something even before that movie came out, right? I knew that there was something I was chasing when that movie came out and I seen it. Because even in the rest of the movie, right, like that guy, the reason why he was all white is because his mother was pregnant with him and it was a lightning storm. She was hit by lightning. She died. He was born to that, right? Like the cop that was in that video, they were on a hunting trip and the cop shot a deer. He grabbed the deer as it was dying and he grabbed the cop and he could, through like electrical impulses, he can make the cop feel what the deer was feeling as it was dying. You know what I'm saying? So like at the end of this movie, like he's finally ascending, right? He just goes into pure energy and shit, right? But when I seen that, I'm like, that's what it looks like. What I'm trying to chase, that's what it looks like.
Right there.
And even when I made that connection, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Like something wrong with me. But I can make that happen. You know that how you have that conflict in your mind with something that you want, but you know it's not real, or you know it's not a reality, but you want it anyway? It's one of those things like what I would feel like inside when I make her just disappear.
Just gone.
In the pure energy. I could die at that moment. I'm done. I'm done with life. The journey is over for me.
That shit is funny.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know it sounds crazy. I know it's not a realistic thing. But I still spend time learning and trying to make that a possibility. It's probably why I get bored easy. And you know what I mean? Like, when I feel like this woman's body is just not, it can't produce anymore. Like, I've hit the highest orgasm that her body can have. Like, I start to be like, oh, well.
Describe a rake to me again.
A rake? Mm-hmm. Oh, matter of fact, I can Google that too and give you like the straight definition of that.
Oh.
Let's see.
Some of that good shit.
Rake.
You want some? I have some more snacks on the floor.
I mean, honestly.
Did you eat the peanuts?
No, of course not. I would be allergic.
Yeah, what's your password?
Ain't nobody know that.
What's your password?
Not even my ex knew that shit.
But what's your
Nobody.
password?
We're not recording.
Yeah, we are. We're on.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, you're recording right now? Wait, you-
When did we do that? When did
I thought we took a
Yeah, when
break.
After the video was over.
Oh, okay. But hey,
I was
man,
not
I
aware of
ain't got my headphones in or nothing.
checked out?
Read that.
Oh my god.
Just read it out loud.
The rake is the second persona described by Robert Greene in his masterpiece, The Art of Seduction. The rake is an unquenchable sexual passion for women. He can never have enough. A rake uses an incredible repertoire of verbal skills and persuasion techniques to seduce women. Let's examine the details.
Go to the next floor.
Let passion lead the way. Let's go back to part 1 of this series where I described the balance between passion and obsession. Even when a man is successful at it, it isn't until he is overwhelming her with attention, like an anaconda squeezing the life out of its prey. Such men suck the excitement out of women. Beware of your intensity. You want to give a little, then pull back. This is referred to as the push-pull technique. It's unwise and dangerous to go overboard when pursuing a woman because it allowed her to think she has you. Instead, a sense of mystery. You want to show your interest but not become obsessed. It would drive her wild and make her want you even more. This is the X factor, one that nearly every man lacks. With the rake, you will do just that and make a woman think she has you. This is a slippery slope, as I alluded to, because you want to make the women okay. I mean, am I just going to keep reading this?
Yeah, just go a little more.
The next, a woman is often defensive and can sense insecurity or calculation. If she feels consumed by your attention and is confident you will do anything for her, she will notice nothing else about you and will find a way to forgive your indiscretions. The rake oozes passion. You must make a woman feel like she is all that matters to you in the world. Even though a rake's attention span is fleeing in the moment, he is widely devoted to a woman's need, primarily pleasure. You need to avoid distractions and focus 100% on the woman you are attempting to seduce. Listen to every word and respond with confidence and poise. Your intensity must be unmistakable. Word to live by. The rake uses words to seduce, not his appearance. No persona speaks to the looks don't matter theory of the rake. Good looks are a bonus for the rake, serving to enhance his impressive demeanor. Remember, imperfect men can hold the keys to desire if they know how to act. You can thrive with women as long as you throw caution. You can thrive with women as long as you throw caution to the wind and have an unwavering sense of confidence. Some of history's greatest seducers were hardly attractive, but they possessed a key characteristic, a mastery of persuasive language. Their weapon was the spoken word, and what a weapon this can be.
Now, the reason why I say, this material doesn't create something, it just helps you refine who you are. When you go through, even like when you read the 48 Laws of Power, right, you're going to identify with certain parts of it, and those parts are going to be able to help you polish who you are. Like, I've seen guys try to take the art of seduction and create something false that's not there. That shit doesn't work. It really helps you, like, when you can really look at yourself and you can really see what your good qualities are and what your flaws are, and you can figure out what type you are, it just gives you the tools to go from like this rough rock to a polished sculpture. You know what I mean? Like, when I was young, like, I knew that there were certain things about me that I didn't see in guys around me, And I kind of knew there were things that women were attracted to that weren't in other guys. I didn't know what those things were. I didn't know why. And it was just fumbling in the dark. Like, you try this, you try that. You kind of. Once I learned who I was, then I could polish myself. You know what I mean? Like, it's like sharpening a knife. You know, you're not taking a knife and making it into a hammer. You're just sharpening what is already a knife. You know what I mean? Because very young, I realized, like, when I saw a woman I was attracted to, there was more of a devour feeling. There was more of not, I gotta fuck her, conquer her. It was, I have to devour her, everything. And the attention that I would pay to women, like I said, near it, like it borderlines this, what's the word? Obsession, right? Which was kind of fearful in the beginning, because when you feel like a sense of obsession, like you look at like a stalker or something, where obsession takes them. But I kind of realized, like, my obsession was what gave me patience to hear certain things, to listen to certain things, to begin to make an assessment on exactly what I liked in this woman, what about this woman was attracting me to her, and why I felt this need to create like this passion around her. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not going to say like that shit is always a positive, because at my age, I don't know how to be any other way with a woman than that. Like, I don't know how to just like be on 10 for a one-off. Even if it's a one-off, a jump-off, like, all I know is how to create this thing. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes that turns out bad, because you are creating this sense of desire and passion in a woman that's not sustainable, because you see it as a jump off and they're seeing it as something greater than what it is. So that is also the negative, because once you learn who you are and you polish who you are, I don't know how to turn it down. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm dating an ugly woman, I don't know how to not make her feel like she's the most beautifulest thing on the planet. I don't know how to do that. You know what I mean?
You gotta have balance, bro. You gotta have balance.
True. This is what I'm saying. Like, for me, that drive and desire goes negative sometimes. I don't know how to tone it down. I don't know how not to be on 100 with that.
I kind of have the same problem with work, bro.
You know what I mean?
Mine's just, yours just sounds personal. Mine's, I'm all in.
No, I used to do work too. It's just, I hit a certain point in my career and I realized, yeah, I'm not putting this kind of effort into employment, because I was putting just as much effort into employment as I was in my own businesses. You know what I'm saying? And then I had to make the shift to realize employment is a hustle. I need to come in this building and get you to give me as much money as I can, and then be out. This ain't my business. Where this business goes and how successful it is ain't got shit to do with me. I enter in this shit to get money from you. You're giving me money to get work up out of me. This is a back and forth hustle on how little work can I give you for the maximum amount of money. Because I could give a shit where your company go. It ain't my company. That kind of changed how much, how intense I was at work. Like, when I was a counselor, I was 100% in that shit. Like, my heart, my emotions. Having healthy boundaries and separations from clients was really hard, because I'd work all day for a client. You know, you getting evicted, you done relapse, you done gone through whatever crisis. Like, nigga, I dedicate all time possible until I can help that client alleviate that. Like, it was that much passion in it. And even when I went into IT, like, man, the hours I would spend building server farms and how flawless I would try to be in creating those systems, until I just was like, you know what, fuck this shit. This ain't my business. I don't give a shit that this fucking building go up in flames. It's not my problem. So now I'm at a point of, I have a lot of balance in my personal life, friends, family, and stuff like that. I'm trying to have some balance in how I deal with women. You know what I mean? Because for me, the failure is a deep, depressing thing for me. You know, there's a lot of dudes, man, they can lay down with a woman, fuck her, she not come at all, and they not think twice about that. Like, if I sleep with a woman, I don't make her come, I take it as a personal affront to me. It causes deep depression in me. You know what I'm saying? And, like, it fucks with me. And it's gonna fuck with me until I can get my hands on that woman and make her fucking pussy explode. If I can't, I'm telling you, there's women in my 20s and in high school that I didn't get to climax, and I still think about that shit today. And if I ever got a shot to do it again, I'm gonna complete that shit. I'm sorry. Like, I can't detach my self-esteem from that.
Oh, bro, that is probably one of the realest lines I ever heard in my life, bro. It's a problem. You know how some niggas is like, that's funny. Some niggas is like, some people look at that shit like, oh, nigga, I need it. Like, say, for instance, they hit, right? They hit, they ain't even make her come or some shit, right? But it was just like, say, for instance, it was just wet or some shit, whatever. Some niggas is like, bro, I need to hit that. That shit was true. I'm like, bro, I need to hit that again because, nigga, I fucked up.
Yeah, like,
whoa, bro.
I think, too, and then too, it's a minefield, right? Because there's a lot of guys who don't know how to spot a fake, right? And this is like a trick and a con that men have to navigate throughout their whole lives. And what's sad is, the deeper a woman loves you or cares for you, the better she will be at faking it. Because the faking it is to spare your feelings
I just hope,
out of love.
I pray to God that day never happens. How do you spot a fake, Bobby?
It's hard. You got to know the woman. It is really hard. You know what I'm saying? Because there have been times to
This
where...
nigga over here laughing.
She's a pro at
I was
that.
about to say, you must be pro faker.
What do you do?
I have no
Penelope.
I'm bleeping all that shit. Her name is going to be Bleep.
Man, we done.
He's listening to this. He's like, this bleep person seems kind of familiar.
We done said it so many times.
Oh, yeah.
You'll do a lot of bleeps.
Yeah.
I went through like 3
Yeah.
different names at this point.
You do.
Yeah, what's the deal though? What would you say? What was your response to what we said?
What was your question?
Did you have a question?
I said, what do you do? What do you do to
What do you-
fake that
She's asking
orgasm?
you, how do you fake it?
Yeah, how do you pro faker?
I don't know. You just make the noise and the body movements. You lick them in the eye, and then
And you like,
you just make them feel good about themselves, and it's over. And I'm like, actually, no. I just need to be cuddled afterwards. I don't care.
And I tell women all the time, you faking it is like one of the worst frauds.
One of the worst ones ever.
To keep a guy in this thought of he's doing something correctly and he's not, ain't cool. I understand a lot of men, like,
What you
the
need to
male
do.
ego is fragile. I get that.
What you need to do is
yeah, it is.
you need to tell that nigga that shit was weak. You need to go work on your game.
But this is the thing.
That's what you need to say.
Listen to when I say this. It has happened to every guy. You say you hope it's never I can guarantee you at least once it's happened to you. Because like I said, like, the majority of the time when a woman is faking, it's out of love and care and concern for you and your ego.
Has it ever happened to me?
Like, you wouldn't know it.
Not with me, at least.
I think she's saying that of her love, for my love, care, and ego. I'm just messing around. This nigga
What?
got me questioning my abilities, bro. It ain't never happened.
You should
bro.
always question.
The
See,
hell?
That's that ego shit. You should always be questioning your abilities, because if you're not learning, you're not growing. If you think you're 100% on point right now, where else are you going? How high can you get? What more can you learn if you already think you're complete? You know what I'm saying?
Valid.
You always have to question.
It's valid.
And you got to do it every last fucking woman that you're with, because what you do with this one, and you may know this body 100%, and what gets this one there multiple times could be completely fucking opposite with the next one. Yeah. Every woman you with, it is a constant assessment of, what am I doing? Is this working? Is this what turns her on? Is this what gets her off? Where can I improve? How can I improve my performance? Can I learn better techniques? Because if you don't, and that's the thing, most men get really confident in their ego really fucking early in life. There are guys 30, 40, 50 years old still fucking with the confidence that they had when they were 15. Thinking that, oh, I'm on point. Nigga, you 15. You just now learning what the fuck to do with your dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, you always gotta learn. You know what I mean? Like,
You should always got a question.
it's always a process. You know, I just, I always encourage learning.
Do you think it's easier to make a guy come than a girl?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All you gotta do is take a thumb, and if you rub the head enough, it's gonna spit. Like a man's, or you know, a man's genitals are not very complex when it comes to that. Now, some
So
men,
do you think like the sensations that each individual feels is like more common, like how you were saying that you have to get to know each woman's individual body, and how do you think it's more, what's the word, like, do you think it's more like the same throughout for men than it is for women? Like, do you think if the way I suck like one guy's dick
Nope.
and then the next
Nope.
guy's
it's
is
different.
It's gonna be
Okay.
different.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
what I
You know
thought.
what I mean? Because I've been in bed and had to tell a woman, this is not his dick. You're not sucking my dick right now.
Yeah, I have.
You know what I'm saying? But,
It's not the best conversation. It's not the funnest.
I mean, but you do got to say something, because people get very stagnant in their technique.
Yeah, thinking like this is the
You know
one.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everybody is different. Now, the funny thing is, what you feel when you orgasm ain't what she feel. But how I feel when I nut is exactly how he feels when he nuts. Every man, when we nut, the feeling is the same. Women, the orgasm is so complex. What women feel individually is very different. That's why when women sit around and talk about coming and orgasm and multiple orgasms, there's no real cohesive line in that dialogue, because it's so hard to articulate what it is and how it feels, because it's so individualized.
So what do we feel? What do we
It's
feel?
just like, okay, let me say this
What do men
point too.
feel?
Because I recently had this conversation with a woman, and later she really kind of told me, like, yo, I never thought of that, and now I understand. Because I had explained to her what a woman feels like when she orgasms with like a jump off. Some dude she thought was cute in the club, and he beat it up and he was pretty good, is really not the same when she feels with somebody she's deeply in love with. Like, the climax, the sex is different. The emotional connection for a woman creates a wide nuance in how they come and how they feel when they come. And I had to explain to her, when I bust a nut with a bitch I don't even know, the way that nut feels is the same way it feels when I bust with a chick that I'm deeply in love with. How the nut feels don't change. The intensity of my emotion may be different, but the actual nut itself is the same from when I don't know her, I'm deeply in love with her, or I fucking jacked off. And I don't think women really understand that.
What you mean though, bro? What you mean? How I feel? What you mean?
A guy's nut, not only is it very intense, but it's very quick. I always liken it to like cocaine. Like, I know everybody don't know what cocaine feels like, but it's a very like intense, quick high. Like, boom, you feel it, and then it's gone. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay, yeah.
after that first, the actual feeling is pretty much gone. We may have some like
Damn, that
exhaustion and
sucks.
shit like that, but yeah, like our nut is not complex at all. Like there's that build up, there's that.
It's
and
like
then it's gone.
imagine like I know you ain't did it, but like imagine like cigarettes or like when you put weed in the tobacco, when you put weed in or when you put tobacco in the weed, that quick head rush and then it's gone.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's like that. It's like that head rush and then
That's why when men get caught cheating, they'll say shit like it was just sex, like and women go, no, but you fucked her, and that has something to do with how you love me and all of that. But to a dude, it's like fucking a chick I don't know is the same as jacking off. Like the nut is the same. It ain't like it's gonna be different. We don't have that thing that women have to where you could be really fucking in love with somebody and love everything about them, and then when you orgasm from that, it's like this whole body wave, and then it can roll into multiples and shit like that. Like, men pretty much have two nuts. It's a straight nut, and then it's a fucking prostate nut. That's it. And both of them are still really quick. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
yeah, they are. Yeah. Damn, I ain't really thought about it like
But
that.
that's
though.
why love for men
That's nice.
is more emotional, not physical. Love for women is more physical than emotional. Because when a man falls in love, it is deeply from an emotional point. Because all the pussy is pretty much the same. Like, women have this very unique view of their pussy and the quality of their pussy and the taste of their pussy and all of this shit. But you could fuck 100 women and pretty much 90 of them vagina feels the same. You might catch some.
That's arguable.
No, hold on.
That's arguable.
You might catch some where the texture of the walls is a little different.
Okay, I was gonna say.
When they get too wet, you know, the pufferfish effect to where like it just opens the fuck up.
Boy, yeah.
You go, whoa! Wait a minute! I done fell in this bitch. What the fuck you been doing? Because you know, like the whole uterus and everything will fucking just expand when it gets really fucking wet and it's coming. You go, oh wait a minute, this is. Woohoo! You know what I'm saying?
Just, oh shit.
But in general, like, it kind of feels the same. You know, it's not like how much variety like a dick is. Like, you fuck this one dude, it feels a certain way, it leans a certain way, and all of that shit. Like, as
It leans a certain
you know, as individual as a vagina can look, in the act of sex, it doesn't vary as much. So when we tend to have these emotions for a woman and we begin to fall in love, it is genuinely from an emotional place. A woman, it is very hard for a lot of women to separate sex from emotion. If you get in that motherfucker and you knock the bottom out that motherfucker and you cause her to have orgasms that she's probably never had with somebody, the emotion is gonna come from that. That's why when a woman cheats, it's a lack of affection, It's a lack of attention. It's more emotional things than the physical. I'm not saying some women don't cheat because of the physical, but the predominant amount of women who cheat, it's attention, emotion, things like that. Men could have a woman who is highly affectionate, fucks him right, and he still could go out and fuck somebody else on some, I don't know, she was fine and she said I could fuck. It be that fucking basic and dumb. You know what I'm saying?
I bet it is.
That fucking basic and dumb.
You know, like, oh, well, did you see her ass? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You
it
didn't
could
wanna
be that
touch it?
basic. I don't know. That's crazy. Like, so much shit is basic for men.
When it
comes
should
to
be
that,
based
except
for
the
us.
emotion. Like, when a man falls in love with you, really falls in love with you, oh, man. Ain't nothing in the world wrong with you. Every flaw, every issue just disappears. No matter how old you get, no matter what happens to you, in his eyes, you still look like you did when he fell in love with you. Until he happens to fall out of love with you, then that's when it'd be like, oh, what is that? And girl, you done put on some pounds. And that's when he starts noticing shit that has changed. But until then, from 20 to 80, you be 80 years old. This motherfucker look at you like he fell in love with you when y'all was 20. He don't really see the wrinkles. He don't see the gray hair. He just sees that woman that he fell in love with. And it ain't until you fall out of love and you go, oh, bitch, you wrinkled. Wait a minute, when these wrinkles happen? When all these stretch marks come? And then a man would like pick that shit in his mind and create more distance. But, you know, that's how it is with us talking monkeys. Basic and complex at the same time. We wonder why relationships don't work. Want to add anything? Any opinions?
Man, I've just been in deep thought. I feel like out of all these things you've been saying, I feel like it's such a like the world revolves around men so much, but with all these little simple things y'all do and your simple penises, it's like it should really be revolving around me. I feel like.
You think it doesn't?
No.
Check this out. I heard a comedian
I don't
once
feel
say,
like that
hold
at
on,
least.
because women don't know their power. A comedian once say, if I could fuck a bitch and live in a cardboard box, I would never buy a house. Everything on this fucking planet, we did for pussy. Skyscrapers, businesses, fancy cars, clothes. If we could have just stayed living in the cave and get laid, we probably still would be in the cave. If women didn't go, yo, you need a deer, you need some goddamn animal skins like you need to produce, or I'm not giving you none, man, we'd still be in the cave, snatching fish out the water, cooking on an open fire. Men aspire to heights and greatness, to be great, to have their pick of women.
That's the sad truth.
Women have power. Check this out. A man's power is in physicality and aggression. Our ability to go, I'll break your fucking neck if you come in my territory. I will protect my kingdom, my house, my family with my life. A woman's power has always been in the mental, in intelligence, in manipulation, in passive-aggressive strategies, because they have, for the most part, never been physically strong enough to combat with men physically. I just think in the last maybe 50 to 60 years, the bulk of women have forgot that. It's such a race to be equal to men, they have forgot what power they have. Do you know what power is to, I'm going to sit at home and nigga, you finna go out there and kill that bear and feed me. Not I'm going to send a woman out there to go kill the bear because I'm the powerful one. No, I gotta feed her or she ain't gonna fuck me. Bear, you're dead.
Bear, you're dead.
Dear, you're dead. Like,
You, me, bear.
even if you look at that dynamic,
Knife.
you, for the most of human history, hundreds of thousands of years, you can sit at home and I gotta go out there and I gotta go to war. I gotta go hunt and kill shit. I gotta build railroads. I gotta build buildings and bridges, and I gotta do all of this shit. And then at some point, a woman go, nope, I want to go do that too. I want to go die in a coal mine. I want to go die on a battlefield. I want to be equal to you. Okay, well, now there's a power dynamic
Jeff
shift.
Bezos.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's a shift in a power structure.
Or you get sued.
You know, you gave up your power to do fucking nothing to want to do something. Now you want to wonder why your fucking kids ain't attached to you because you in a fucking office building, goddamn 10 hours a day trying to become VP, and the fucking nanny raising your goddamn kids, and you wonder why you can't have a career and kids have it all. Well, you wanted something. You wanted to get out here and work your fucking self to death and put your life on the line when you could have just been sitting at home eating bonbons and having babies and watching all the men go off to die. That was a choice. I want equality. Why? You had more than equal. Nigga, you was the boss. A man would go out and kill 1 million motherfuckers to protect him, come home, and the wife would be like, hey, get your fucking shoes out the house. Don't do this. Don't do that. Control the castle. The king runs the land. The queen runs the castle. You gave up your power to be a peasant, to be a worker. You wanted to give up your employee that was going to feed you and the kids while you did nothing but just take care of home to go run the rat wheel that every other fucking dude is doing. You think dudes want to go do that shit? Sit underneath some boss that talk fucking crazy to you, work at some company that don't really profit you to bring home a fucking percentage of the profits to then pay for some goddamn kids that don't appreciate you and a woman who act like she don't want to fuck you, all just hopefully that she might fuck you and might give you a kid. And women want to talk about they don't have power?
It's just not explicit though. It's not portrayed like that, even if it is like subliminally that.
It was very overt for most of human history. Mama run home. Right around them 50s and 60s, the feminist movement, oh no, we want to be equal.
But then what about when they, like, get comfortable?
What do you mean?
Like, they get comfortable so that drive that you say they have just, like...
The man or the woman?
The man gets comfortable.
At home?
Yeah.
Yeah, you close them legs.
I mean, it's like, that's pretty basic. It's pretty simple.
Why does something have to be complex to get results?
I mean...
If I want to take a shit, I can go sit on the toilet. I don't have to go through 100 steps to make a shit happen.
True, but the reason I say that is because, like... The problem, like, let's say, the problem would be like the problem seems complex for what you're saying the solution is. Because, like, let's say the woman isn't happy with her husband, like, he doesn't spend time with her when he comes home from work, and he doesn't maybe share things about his life as much as he used to, and, like, those are all, like, very small... but like a multitude of problems, and then you give it like one simple solution, it seems like.
Okay, so when women started to give up their power, right? Also, the shift happened to where we don't need each other. There was a point in time a woman needed a man and a man needed a woman, right? Women were not really in the workforce. And then before that, women weren't in the workforce at all. Men were. But at that time, men couldn't have babies. Still can't now. Men could not fucking cook. If a woman left the house and left, you know what the fuck would happen to a man? Men did not know how to sew. They didn't know how to cook. They didn't know how to care for children.
what I
There was a
imagine.
whole set of skills that men absolutely did not know. They were not raised with. They were not taught when they were young. They were taught with male skills. You're a man, these are the skills that you are taught. You're a woman, these are the skills that you're taught. With equality, it removes the necessity for one another. So back in the day, a wife could, I'm not cooking his favorite food. I'm not sewing the holes in his clothes. I'm not fucking him. And a man was stuck and was really kind of forced to change behavior. Now, even me personally, there's nothing a woman has that she has leverage over me. I can cook better than you. I can sew better than you. I can take care of my house better than you. What the fuck do you have to leverage over me? I'm a single father raising my own goddamn kids. You know what I'm saying? From out the womb until now, I could do all of that. Change diapers, formula, every fucking thing. Been with my kids since day one. Because with equality, you force me to learn how to parent from infancy on up the same way that you do. Not realizing that now I know, because you made me know, I don't need you but to have the baby. And most men don't have this undying urge to fucking have babies. We have babies because women go, I want to start a family. And men go, oh, okay. I guess that's what we doing now. You know what I'm saying? The urge to just like produce extra mouths to take care of is it's not an overwhelming urge that we have. That's why a lot of men go, okay, there's a baby and I'm out. Like this, I'm not trying to do no diapers and bottles and crying and all of that shit. You know what I mean? We now don't need one another. The purposes for having one another is really dissolved. That's why we have the divorce rates that we have and all of that shit. I don't need you, you don't need me. There's nothing I can leverage on you to change your behavior. There's nothing you can leverage on me to change my behavior. Now who's got the power? No fucking body. Now what are we creating for? Nothing. Just to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? That has a large effect in society when we don't need one another. I can take care of me, you can take care of you. At some point, I don't like you, it's over. Bye. I'll get another one. Because now it just comes down to how I feel about you emotionally.
So it's a want then. It's
Yeah,
not a
now
need
it's
anymore.
just a want.
It's not a need anymore.
And wants come and go. See, back in the day, you learn how to love the distance. Because neither one of us could afford to fall out of love and really just leave. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, which is really better though? Because it's like,
When you're
would
trying
you
to,
solely want to be with someone just because they needed you instead of like
but that's part of it, right? In our generations now, it's all about in love with you. But love comes and goes. It goes ups and down over time. It's not plateaued over 40 years. Falling in love with somebody is not straight line over 60 years. It goes up and down. The necessity is what makes you stay to fall back in love. The necessity is what makes you relook at your relationship and change what you're doing and do the extra shit and go for the distance. If it's just based on me being in love with you, yeah, we on a time clock. Because at some point, shit gonna drift, you gonna change, I'ma change. And at that point, that I'm not in love with you no more, what is to make me stay the distance to make that emotion come back? To find the things to fall back in love with you? Nothing. Upgrade time. If I don't really need you, The fuck do I need to love these wrinkles and sagging ass titties and stretch marks from these fucking 5, 6 kids you had for me? I could upgrade. You don't need me, I don't need you. Here's some child support. I get the kids in the summer or on the weekend, and now I'm fucking a 20-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Life comes at you fast.
even if you looked at cultures to where like mistresses was a big thing, right? And men have mistresses on the side. Home, wife, and kids was still number one priority. You look through history, motherfuckers would kill a mistress to make sure home didn't get fucked up. Bitch, you at the bottom of the ocean. You have forgot your lane. You want to talk to my what? My wife, bitch, you lost your mind. And this was before alimony and child support. This is really when you could just like leave home and never come back. And daddy went for a pack of cigarettes and we ain't seen him in 20 years. This was before like filing child support in court and subpoenas and all of this shit. A motherfucker be like, nah, You want to have a talk with who? You come to my house. Tom, what you doing after bowling Thursday? We gotta go handle something. You know what I mean? It was just the fear of pissing your wife off and making your house unhappy. You know what I mean? Now it don't fucking matter. I'm tired of fucking you. I'm upgrading to new vagina. 'Cause I don't need you. You don't need me. And
Like new vagina.
It's matter of fact, if you look to like India, where arranged marriages are still like a big thing, those people learn how to love one another. They find the things in each other to love, and they constantly do that throughout the course of their lifetime. Indians from India didn't start having a level of divorce until they started coming to America and becoming generational in America. Back home, your parents arranged this shit. You met, you talked for a day or two, and was around each other. You got married, and then you had a fucking life together. And if either one of y'all left, like, it was shame on you. It was like disowned, and it was all this shit that came from the family. So she pissed you off. You better get over that shit, and you better figure out how to make that shit work. Which is why this is a culture that invented the fucking Kama Sutra. We can't get bored of fucking each other, so we need to figure this out. Even if you look through the Kama Sutra, there's hella like 3 ways and 4 ways and shit like that. Oh, we gotta keep this motherfucker spicy. We cannot separate.
That's pretty lit if they did that.
You know what I'm saying? You look at Asian cultures. You look at ancient like Japanese and Chinese artwork, all the sexual shit in it, because they went through a dynasty where all that shit was kind of like put to the side. They went through like this whole sexual oppression and shit like that. But you had a plethora of dynasties where there was this major sexual freedom. You find cultures that had that level of sexual freedom like ancient China, Japan, India, parts of Europe, is because separating the family didn't happen. That sexual freedom came from the fact of we need to keep figuring out how to redo this shit. Because it just wasn't there was no separating. There was no leaving. You better learn how to jiggle these balls different. I'm learning how to play with this little motherfucker different. Like, there's just no getting bored. We need to refigure this shit out. When you look at America, we here, it is a replacement culture. It is an upgraded culture. I can leave at any time. We can get a divorce. Some states are no community property states. Some states are like, 50-50. Just split everything down the middle. You go your way. You go your way. We don't have a lot of those things that make staying together a have-to thing. We have a very love marriage culture. Other places is honor, family, duty. These are the things that why marriage happens, what marriage based on. Here, we have a Walt Disney view of marriage. I found my one, my soulmate. I'm in love. We got married. And then 10 years later, I can't stand to hear this bitch breathe. Every night we lay down, I just want to choke this shit out this bitch. I'm the fuck out of here.
Oh my god.
And then that's what happens. Motherfuckers leave. It's simple, but that's what the fuck it is. But once you know it's simple, now you can make some strategies. Now you can initiate some shit. And the fact is, I don't know if you agree with me on this, D. Women don't make themselves unreplaceable. Women spend so much time on a man needing to prove himself and chase them and be this and be that. A woman doesn't make herself irreplaceable to a man. Men have to. I have to constantly prove and show and perform at this level to prove that I can have you, while you are so comfortable, you're just as mediocre as any other fucking woman out here. I can't tell you, like, when my marriage ended and I started really dating again, I would hear the most redundantest thing. I'm like, so what makes you special? Like, what makes you you? I can cook, I can clean, I'm loyal and do. Okay, so is fucking 90% of the women on this goddamn planet. To get a woman to actually even be able to articulate what makes her special, what makes her an individual, it fucking baffles them. Even the things that they say, that they're saying that they think is just so, no. The majority of women on this planet are faithful and they're loyal and they're honest. They lie to you to like save your feelings and keep your ego intact. But a good woman is not hard to find. They're fucking everywhere. Everywhere.
You said, but a hardworking man is not.
No. Especially now. You got more men that want to be stay-at-home daddies and shit than anything. Like, I have struggled to really find a woman who can show individual value. What makes you intricate to me?
Name 3 things that you would consider.
The hobosexuals.
Homosexuals.
That just popped in my head.
Name one thing that you would say that a woman could be like. They say, and then you'd be like, oh, that's pretty individual.
Never
Isn't that-
really heard him.
You can't think of any.
No. In 2 years, I've had 36 partners since I've been in the Northwest.
2 years.
I ain't heard nothing individual, not out of neither one of them. None of them.
You about to top that shit, huh, nigga?
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Out of the 36 partners that I've had, and then the dates on top of that, I've never really heard anything individual. You know what I mean? They just all say the same shit.
But you couldn't think of one that would be like, that's pretty individual.
No. They think what they're saying is some individualized, unique shit. It ain't. You know what? I've even told women, check this out. How about you make a POF or a Tinder profile as a man? Just swipe through some women's profiles. Because I swear to God, it look like y'all just copy and paste the same shit from one another. The same shit. Not a booty call, looking for something serious, blah, blah, blah. Or then you have the ones who are more looking for a hookup. Out of these 2 variants, it's just the same.
You said one says not serious and one says serious.
Yeah. There's not even really variance in the serious profiles all say the same shit. The ones that's just
swipe left if you're trying to, if you just trying to fuck or some shit.
No, like the ones that aren't serious, like looking to date, no commitment. They use words like adventure, fun, partner in crime, and all of these terms to just imply like I want to be entertained. You know what I'm saying? Like I want somebody who's gonna entertain me, go on and do things with me.
Right.
But I don't want to be committed to you. I tell women, you need to look at other women's profiles just to make sure you're not saying the same shit. Because I hate swiping through 100 profiles to see, I'm looking for my best friend. Bitch, you're 45. You don't have a best friend? What the fuck is wrong with you? You're 30. Why are you still looking for a best friend? You don't have one? What the fuck makes you think as your man, I want to be your best friend? I have a best friend. I hang out with my nigga like 3 times a week. I'm looking for a woman, not a partner to kick it with. There's a difference. You know what I'm saying?
God damn it.
But how women interpret, oh, my best friend, and what they want in like a relationship and shit like that. That's why most men can feel smothered and trapped. And it's like, bitch, go get a hobby. Go do something. Like, we need some separation.
Do you have any you got online dating sites?
Tag, P.O.F. were the main ones that I dealt with. Tinder's for young people and shit. You know what I'm saying? Tinder just give me a fucking headache.
You think I can go in there and find any hoes?
Promiscuous women, prostitutes, or I don't. When you say hoe, I don't know what young people mean by that anymore. Thoughts? Like, what are you?
3 categories. I'm talking strippers, camera girls, and sinking arrangement girls.
So P.O.F. There are a lot of women who do solicit business. Like their profiles is, you know.
You said POF?
Yeah. They solicit business, like, because, you know, Craigslist and Backpage and all that shit is fucked off.
Right.
These are now mediums that escorts and prostitutes are now promoting and soliciting on.
But you can't post any ass photos or anything like that because then you get banned.
Really?
I've seen it happen.
Hold on.
I've literally seen it happen. I've seen a bio and ass all in the profile and then banned within 3 minutes.
So you'll start to see shit like this, right? Regular hooker.
Tits.
Regular hooker.
That might be fake.
Hooker.
That's definitely a hooker.
Hooker.
That's definitely a hooker.
Wait a minute. Regular hooker.
That's definitely a hooker. She might be a
Maybe.
hooker. Yeah, she might. That's
Definitely
a
a hooker. Hooker.
That's definitely
Hooker.
That's a hooker too.
Hooker.
That's a hooker too.
Regular.
Regular.
Hooker.
I think that's
Regular.
Regular. That's,
Hooker.
That's for sure a hooker.
Regular.
That's a regular.
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 Well, no, that
Debatable.
that's debatable. Regular. Definitely a hooker. Hooker. Regular. Hooker. Regular. Hooker. You know what I mean? Like, once Backpage and Craigslist got really fucked off with this shit, hookers were all over dating sites.
You said dating sites. I need to expand my talents.
You know what I'm saying?
I need to expand my talents. Can you take my hand? Thank you.
Like,
I need to
hooker.
That's definitely a hooker. I need to expand my talents, man.
You know, if everything is cool at the house and you doing what you're supposed to be doing, then you can expand your talents. I don't see nothing wrong with that.
Nigga, everything is taken care of where I'm from.
All right.
Huh. Okay.
Where I'm from, personally, in my household straight. What you mean? It's a nice foundation. Is there something I'm missing off air?
We're not off air.
Oh, okay.
On air.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you go on these, you'll find that.
Hey,
Now,
we'll be back after these commercials.
hold on. This is one thing I gotta say about that. I don't know what you plan to do with prostitute hookers or cam girls, but
Shit, man, I plan on soliciting. No, I'm playing.
the level of
I'm joking, everybody.
okay, but what I'm saying is the level of
I'm joking, everybody.
suave game that you gotta have takes time and experience.
You gotta start somewhere, you know.
I'm Just saying.
I'm trying to learn from Penelope. Penelope got all the game.
Takes time to build.
She got
Starts with the humbleness.
Humbleness. I need to reach out to Kendrick Lamar.
I don't know. He's a pretty monogamous, faithful dude to his wife.
I don't think he got it.
No, I know the song. I got it.
Okay.
But I'm just saying.
Okay, got it.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening. That's going to conclude our show for today. Thank you for your time and attention, and we out.
See y'all.
Thank you for listening. And if you like the show and you want to help us grow, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast or just the episode that you like the most. And also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever you catch us. If you would like to make a donation to the show, please go to our page at hklogic.podbean.com and become a patron of the show. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at hardknocklogic@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 510-255-4546. Again, that's 510-255-4546. And you can always catch all of our content on this network at hklogic.podbean.com. Hope you come back. Hope you give us another listen. Peace.